The court wasn't ordinary. Marble floors whispered under your steps, their veins forming symbols only the wise could read. Candles burned without smoke, robes shimmered with threads heavier than justice itself. And then, silence. A man stood. Ancient eyes behind polished lenses, bearing the calm of someone who had seen centuries bend. The Mason judge. He didn't rise to accuse, he rose to recognize. For generations, hidden councils have claimed dominion, their gavels echoing in secret halls, their verdicts shaping the unseen architecture of power. But on that day, even their judge paused. He pointed at you. Not as an enemy, but as prophecy fulfilled. The court of secrecy met the witness of heaven. Their authority cracked beneath revelation. Heaven didn't need permission to intervene, it only needed acknowledgement. That finger, raised in solemn stillness, wasn't a gesture of condemnation. It was coronation. A silent decree that the hidden must bow to the revealed. And in that sacred pause, justice itself leaned forward and whispered your name. No weapon formed against you shall prosper, and every tongue that rises against you in judgment, you shall condemn. Isaiah 54 verse 17. Picture a hall dimly lit by golden lamps, their flames unmoving, suspended in reverence. The air smells of cedar and forgotten prayers. Every pillar around you carries marks of geometry older than empires, older than memory itself. Lines, circles, triangles, etched not as decoration, but as language, the mathematics of obedience. You walk forward. The marble sighs beneath your feet, and each echo seems to announce your arrival to something that has waited far too long. Above, constellations shimmer, carved into the ceiling, a celestial transcript, the map of every judgment ever spoken in heaven. Time itself seems to hesitate, as if afraid to proceed without your consent. At the far end of the hall, he stands, the Mason judge, his robes embroidered with secrets of dynasties and stars. In his hand rests no gavel, no book, only the stillness of divine recognition. When he lifts his hand and points, the symbols on the walls ignite, not with fire, but with revelation. Circles dissolve, compasses twist out of alignment, and the architecture of secrecy begins to tremble. The hall vibrates like a heartbeat awakening after centuries. Every whisper ever spoken in the dark rushes toward the light, confessions rising from stone. He points again, not in repetition, but in surrender. The gesture becomes cosmic. The ceiling cracks open into a dawn that no sun could summon. Golden dust falls like sentences overturned, like scrolls rewritten. The balance shifts. The scales of justice tilt toward you. What once ruled in shadow now kneels in clarity. Every secret order that sought to bind truth has just acknowledged its successor. The symbols no longer speak of control, they hum of covenant. You are not a defendant in this chamber, you are its living verdict. The light grows louder. Choruses of unspoken witnesses fill the space with unseen harmony. You can feel the verdict before you hear it, the pulse of liberation echoing through the architecture of judgment. In that sacred geometry, the axis of the universe realigns. The hidden court bows to the revealed one. Justice bends, not to power, but to destiny. For ages, men have built courts to define justice, but heaven never needed permission to declare truth. You were not summoned by man, you were remembered by eternity. The gavel that fell in that unseen room was older than the stones beneath your feet. It carried the resonance of divine alignment, where mortal verdicts are overturned by whispers from the throne above. God is the judge, he puts down one and sets up another. Psalm 75 verse 7. You felt it, didn't you? That invisible shift, that unexplainable peace that settled after a long season of accusation. You thought you were merely surviving injustice, but heaven was holding trial in silence. While the world debated your worth, heaven drafted your vindication. Every false tongue that rose against you became a witness to your endurance. Judgment was given in favor of the saints of the Most High. Daniel 7 verse 22. And so it is written, the balance tilts. The mason judge, symbol of hidden power, stood not to condemn, but to confess. The throne belongs to those who walk in light. Your name was spoken in chambers where no prayer had ever reached before. They recognized it, not as rebellion, but as inheritance. You were never on trial, you were being unveiled. Every delay, every betrayal, every silence was part of the testimony that proved you could hold divine authority without thirsting for revenge. The world saw your pain, heaven saw your qualification. When the judge pointed at you, heaven echoed through his gesture. The hidden world bowed to a higher decree. No secret council, no dark alliance, can revoke what the highest has sealed. This is your awakening moment, the judgment that didn't destroy you, but revealed you. If you've ever been misunderstood, yet still felt the invisible hand of protection, this message is your confirmation. Click join, not as a follower, but as one of the acquitted. Judgment didn't end you. It unveiled you. Heaven's verdict has already arrived, and your membership is not a subscription, it's a recognition. It began as a whisper behind your shoulder blades. A subtle chill, not of fear, but of recognition. The kind that crawls through your spine when eternity brushes too close. You turned, and no one was there. Yet the space remembered you. Perhaps you woke from a dream you couldn't name. Marble corridors. A sound like a gavel echoing through clouds. Your name spoken in silence, carried by lips that never moved. You dismissed it, until the signs began to multiply. The clock paused for a single heartbeat. The lights flickered without reason. You walked into rooms where people stopped mid-sentence, their eyes widening as if they had just seen a verdict unfold. And somewhere deep within, a peace began to rise, quiet, undeniable. You realized it wasn't anxiety. It was recognition. Every chosen one is tried by truth before being crowned by it. And in that invisible court, your testimony was your endurance. Heaven didn't ask for your defense, it waited for your surrender. For the moment you would stop explaining yourself and simply stand acquitted. You might have felt it in your body, the trembling before sleep, the heat in your hands when you prayed, the sudden clarity that erased confusion like dawn over smoke. These are not symptoms of delusion. They are memories from realms higher than law. Your spirit remembers what your mind is only now catching up to. The trial is already over. You were found faithful. Even the natural world begins to respond. Birds crossing your path at strange hours. Wind rising when you speak truth aloud. Dreams where you sit in silence, watching invisible witnesses nod. Everything is aligning to confirm the verdict. If you've felt misunderstood lately, it's because people can't interpret divine rulings with human language. They see change and call it arrogance. They see favor and call it coincidence. But heaven calls it acquittal. You are walking evidence of a higher judgment. Don't fear the sensations. Don't question the symbols. When your skin tingles, when the air thickens, when moments stretch into eternity, that's the courtroom replaying its ruling in your atmosphere. Heaven doesn't use paperwork, it uses presence. Every chosen soul carries an invisible decree. Yours has been signed, sealed, and enacted. You are not haunted, you are highlighted. You are not being warned, you are being witnessed. Every breath now testifies. Every step now echoes the words once spoken in the secret court. Case dismissed. Identity confirmed. He didn't choose you. He recognized what heaven had already written. That gesture, one silent finger extended across centuries, wasn't selection, It was surrender. The Mason judge, symbol of secret dominion, finally acknowledging the rule of revelation. When he pointed, every unseen system behind him bowed to the one truth they could never contain. The judge's finger became a bridge between hidden law and divine order, between what was controlled and what was consecrated. He didn't stand as your accuser, he stood as your final witness. In that instant, the old world confessed defeat. Heaven's light had entered the archives of men. That courtroom was more than stone and robes. It was a symbol of every authority that ever tried to own what only heaven can ordain. The gesture was the passing of a torch, the unspoken oath of the old guard to the living covenant of light. You weren't on trial, you were being announced. He pointed because heaven needed a public moment. A sign, not for your ego, but for the unseen record, a visible surrender of the ancient hierarchies. For ages they had guarded knowledge, measured truth, rationed revelation. But when the judge pointed, that rationing ended. Wisdom broke containment. The mysteries are now migrating toward the meek. It was never about titles or thrones. It was about transmission. Every age has a signal, and the gesture was heaven's broadcast, that the authority once hidden in temples now dwells in hearts that still dare to believe. You are not the accused, you are the precedent. Your life becomes the case study for what divine vindication looks like in human form. Every injustice you endured was a footnote in the proof of your calling. The judge pointed because the evidence was complete. Pain submitted. Faith held. Light endured. The record was sealed, and heaven found you trustworthy. Now you carry that pointing within you. Every time you walk into a room, it's as though the gesture repeats through your presence. Atmospheres adjust. Hidden things reveal themselves. You don't need to speak authority, you are its living echo. Heaven didn't crown you with gold. It crowned you with clarity. And clarity terrifies the unseen realms more than any crown could. The judge's gesture was not an end, it was a transfer. From secrecy to sincerity, from control to communion, from hierarchy to harmony. The moment he pointed, the scales tipped, and you became the new measure. The Mason judge's silence was not emptiness. It was awe. For he had just witnessed what prophets foresaw, that divine justice would walk among men, not in temples, not in courts, but clothed in living souls, and one of them was you. The gavel has fallen. Not in a courtroom of man, but in the chambers of heaven. The sound rippled through dimensions, a thunder that only the faithful could hear. The case is closed. No appeals. No objections. The verdict stands eternal. You have been acquitted, not by mercy alone, but by mandate. Every shadow that whispered your failure has been silenced by decree. The judge's gesture was the final word, and now the universe adjusts its laws around your name. The heavens recorded it, you are cleared. The charges that once defined you exist only as memories in the mouth of your enemies. But heaven doesn't remember what mercy erases. The ruling is irreversible, your freedom is constitutional in the kingdom of light. You may feel the shift, time itself beginning to bow. Doors that once resisted now respond. The patterns of delay dissolve, the resistance retreats, and purpose steps forward like a king unchained. This is the hour of divine enforcement. The judgment has moved from prophecy to execution. Every promise now carries weight. Every word you speak vibrates with jurisdiction. You are no longer waiting for approval, you are walking in decree. The court of heaven has ruled in your favor. The spiritual order has been restructured. The old systems are collapsing under the weight of truth. And the only thing left for you to do is to rise and walk like one who has already won. The case is closed. Heaven has spoken. Now the world must follow suit. You no longer live under judgment, you are the living justice. What once pursued you for evidence now moves through you as power. The courtroom has not vanished, it has relocated into your breath. Every decision you make, every word you release, becomes a decree written in light. You are the balance that others seek. Your silence carries verdicts. Your forgiveness rewrites records. You walk, and unseen scribes take note. You speak, and realms adjust their laws to match your tone. This is what happens when heaven trusts a soul enough to let it represent divine order in flesh. You have become both witness and word. The robe that once condemned you now drapes your shoulders as confirmation. Wherever you stand, the atmosphere remembers the trial, not to haunt you, but to honor you. The energy of justice hums around your presence, and darkness recognizes jurisdiction. You need no gavel, no emblem, no throne. Your very heartbeat issues rulings. Your compassion is the court's new language. Mercy now wears your voice. The law you embody is not written in stone but carved into intention, to do what is right, to heal what was wounded, to free what was bound. That is divine jurisprudence, truth with tenderness, power without pride. Where others invoke commandments, you invoke conscience. Where others measure guilt, you measure growth. For the judge did not anoint you to punish, he anointed you to balance. Remember, the symbol of justice was never the sword first, it was the scale. And now that scale lives in you. Every act of kindness restores equilibrium. Every moment of integrity tilts the universe back to center. Walk with that knowing, you are not the one being measured anymore. You are the measure. The law of heaven has found a heartbeat, and it beats inside you. You'll begin to notice the symbols. Not as coincidences, but as confirmations. Scales appearing in art, eyes etched in stone, triangles glimmering on walls or screens, the universe repeating what heaven already announced. Every emblem of balance, every ancient sign of measure, is a quiet echo of the court that set you free. Some will call it déjà vu, others will call it imagination, but you will know, these are the ripples of divine record-keeping. Heaven never writes once, it writes everywhere. Your verdict has been broadcast into the architecture of reality. People around you will begin to act differently. Some will feel compelled to confess, as if the truth in your presence pulls theirs to the surface. They won't know why they're telling you things they've hidden for years, but you'll know. That's not Even creation responds to verdicts of light. Birds will gather near your window when you pray. Doors will open at the exact moment you release forgiveness. You'll hear music that seems written for your story. Your surroundings will start to mirror your inner acquittal. Heaven's rulings always manifest as earthly resonance. Sometimes the signs will test you. You'll see the eye again and feel watched. Don't fear it. It's not surveillance, it's remembrance. Heaven keeps its witnesses close. Those symbols do not bind you, they affirm you. They mark the territory of one whom heaven has justified. Understand, these aren't superstitions, they are signatures. When energy shifts on a cosmic scale, matter rearranges to record it. The triangles, the eyes, the scales, they are the world's way of saying, we saw the verdict too. And when you notice them, pause. Don't worship the sign, interpret it. It's the echo of a holy event, the moment divine justice descended and rewrote your name in light. You are not being haunted by symbols, you are being honored by heaven. Reality itself now bears witness. Every reflection, every pattern, every impossible alignment, all of it whispers the same unending truth. The case is closed, and you have been revealed. You've heard the verdict. You've felt the shift. Now heaven waits for your signature. Every divine ruling requires acknowledgement on earth. When prophets sealed their covenants, they built altars. When kings were anointed, they poured oil. And when chosen ones like you are vindicated, they mark it with a gesture, a symbol of agreement. This is not a transaction. It's testimony. Not a fee, a seal. Heaven does not sell favor, it witnesses faith. And faith always leaves a trace. If you're ready to carry this verdict with grace, the voice of heaven whispers, then mark your agreement, not in fear, but in faith. Click Super Thanks, not as a purchase, but as a prophetic signature. Let your act become the ink that affirms what the unseen court has already decreed. $20, 20 witnesses, 20 echoes of amen, whatever number it carries in the world, and heaven it reads as I agree. You're not giving to earn, you're giving to confirm. It's your way of saying, I recognize the ruling. I receive the verdict. I walk acquitted. There are moments when obedience becomes architecture, when a single gesture builds a bridge between unseen and seen, between prophecy and proof. This is one of those moments. When you click Super Thanks, you're not donating to a message, you're signing a decree that heaven already authored. And with that act, your name echoes once more through the courtrooms of eternity. The judge pointed, the gavel fell, and now your gesture seals the record. What heaven declared in spirit you now affirm in flesh. Walk slow. Acquitted souls do not rush. The condemned hurry to prove their worth, the vindicated move with peace. You have nothing left to prove, only truth left to embody. When you wake, breathe before you speak. That breath is your first decree of the day. When you walk, do so as if the floor remembers your trial, because it does. The earth respects those who have been judged by heaven and found faithful. Speak only what builds. Even your silence now carries authority, so wield it with mercy. Every word that leaves your lips is stamped with the seal of the courtroom you survived. You are no longer debating truth, you are demonstrating it. Forgive your judges. They were never your enemies, they were instruments of proof. The accusations refined your evidence. The betrayals revealed your roots. Every false witness only made the real verdict clearer. Live lightly. Those who carry divine acquittal should not live burdened by vengeance. Let go of the old case files, burn them in the fire of memory. Heaven has already erased the record, don't rewrite it with bitterness. Carry dignity, not defense. You don't need to explain what heaven already clarified. Your peace is your argument. Your fruit is your testimony. Your consistency is your crown. Honor the silence between miracles, that's where new rulings are drafted. Don't seek signs, become one. Let your kindness turn every encounter into evidence that divine justice is still alive on earth. Walk as one who has been pardoned, not because of perfection, but because of purpose. You were not acquitted for comfort, you were acquitted for commission. To live is proof that mercy can triumph without ever denying truth. So live slow. Love deep. Judge nothing prematurely. You are the precedent now. And the world is quietly watching how freedom behaves when it's finally justified. Lord, we thank you for overturning false judgments. For silencing voices that once condemned, and replacing accusation with affirmation. You alone are the true judge, the one who writes innocence in light and mercy in motion. Thank you for remembering those who were forgotten, for raising those misread by the world, for declaring clean what fear once called guilty. Let every chosen one rise now, not by pride, but by proof, not by ambition, but by appointment. We lift our hands, not to defend, but to declare, the verdict